let's see if we're live here. Let's see. We are live. Excellent. We should be going out to multiple feeds. Good. Okay, people are jumping on. Excellent. So we're on a little different software tonight, so I don't get to see as much as normal. So no big deal. But yes, people are jumping on. That's fantastic. I don't know how many viewers we have right now, but we're going to get started. So awesome. People are jumping on. This is good. Okay, good. We have people jumping on all feeds. Good. We are good. So merely want to make sure those are all good on the live stream?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So welcome everybody. As people jump on, I see people coming up on the comments feed. So this is a little different venue for tonight, obviously. I'm in my office, and we are going to be doing this out to both all my audience on Revolution Network, but also the Palmer Natural Health office. So my practice with my wife and our associates. So welcome, Dr. Jason Dean, both on the Revolution Network side as well as the Palmer Natural Health side. And so you're going to hear from me for about the next half hour, 40 minutes or so on 5G, and then at 8 o'clock you'll also see my wife going on, and she's going to go over the virus, immunity, etc., all that good stuff. So welcome to Thursday night. Let's dive right in because we have a lot of information to catch up on, and I'm going to be able to bring it to you as best as possible. If you guys have any problem hearing the audio, let me know in the comments, and we have the assistants behind the scenes helping out with that. So if there's any issues with any of this, let us know, and we'll fix them as we're going on the fly. Perfect. 5G. Now, in my previous talks, I've said 5G is not necessarily the reason why we're in the pandemic that we're in. However, it is still a problem. So let me first give you a disclaimer when we talk about 5G tonight. The first disclaimer is that 5G is a very challenging topic to go through. Now, not challenging the research necessarily, but I want everyone tonight, before we dive into this, to kind of get the right mindset in the fact that a lot of the stuff I'm going to tell you tonight and a lot of stuff you're going to learn about in your research is not easy to take in, because this is a very sensitive topic in the fact that it's a very dangerous potential technology, okay? So I'm going to give you some stuff, but do your research, stay positive, and then I'm going to give you solutions at the end of the night, okay? Does that work for you guys? Awesome. Let me go through the very beginning of kind of Wi-Fi or 5G 101. So first of all, there was 1G. 1G was just voice over a phone. So a lot of you will go back and you'll remember those very first phones we ever used, okay? Very simple. It was just to talk. That was simply it. That was the first generation. Second generation, and by the way, the first generation was on 30 kilohertz, okay? That was the wave frequency. Second generation was actually voice and text, okay? Now that was 1.8 gigahertz, second generation. Third generation was 2 gigahertz, which is voice, text, and internet, all right? Now, 4 gigahertz, which is what we're on now, so 4G, it might say on your phone LTE, that's also a word for it. That is between 2 and 8 gigahertz, okay? That has, obviously, voice, text, internet, and video, okay? So that's all of those together. Now, we dive into what is 5G. 5G is what we're going to as a society and as a planet with all countries, okay? 5G is anywhere from 6 gigahertz upwards to 100 plus gigahertz. And we're going to get more into the gigahertz in a second. Now, those are also known as millimeter waves, all right? They are ionizing radiation, all right? It is 15 times stronger. So 5G is 15 times stronger than what we're currently on now, which is 4G. So 15, upwards of 15,000, I should say, actually. It's going to knock electrons out of the orbit of the human cell. So I need you to know that. Okay, this is why 5G is becoming such a problem. We're going to go into more details as I go. on what that actually is, what that means to you, okay? I just want to give you a 101 on what that is. Before I go into that, let me tell you a little story on my last cell phone. A lot of you, if you bought a recent cell phone, it may or may not have 5G capabilities on it. Now, just because 5G is up does not mean you are involved with 5G, because it depends on the actual technical devices or cell phones that you're using. So the last time I bought a cell phone was last year, and I actually switched from Apple, the X, to a Samsung Note Plus. Now, I had an option of getting just the regular, or an option with 5G. So I knew 5G was coming. I did not buy the 5G option. So my phone, I'll show you right here, my phone, okay, is not 5G. Make sense? Good. So you need to be very cautious on what you actually buy from a 5G standpoint. If you don't have a 5G phone, you will not. Now, you're still going to hit with the millimeter waves in the environment, but your phone will not be 5G. Now, they're going to start making phones 5G across the board, so keep that in mind as well. Now, when it comes to Wi-Fi, a lot of you have new Wi-Fis, okay? You have new internet modems at home that have been given to you by the company, whatever company that operates for you. So Wi-Fi is not technically 5G. 5G is the cellular network that they're putting up satellites for, all right? Now you have a 2.5 gigahertz frequency, and you also have a 5 gigahertz frequency on your Wi-Fi, all right? 5 gigahertz is a very small window of what you get a signal on. Okay, 2.5 is a little bit larger. Most people go on the 2.5, they don't go on the 5. You don't necessarily need the 5, okay? But just let you know, those are not the same as the 5G network. A lot of people make that mistake. There's a difference there, okay? Now, what are millimeter waves? Wavelengths are like this, okay? Now, millimeter waves are very tightly packed together, so they're like this, up and down straight, all right? Now, if you've ever flown recently in the last couple of years, they have the TSA booths where you walk into, you put your arms up or whatever it is. I never do it. I always do the opt-out, okay? But you have where you go in and the little thing goes around you. That is millimeter waves. They tell you that they're not dangerous. That is not actually true, okay? It's not true. To be honest with you, I was actually at the airport probably about a year ago, and there's a woman behind me who was a younger woman, probably in her late 20s, and she thought she might be pregnant. They were going to make her go through, and I actually had to tell them that women who are either pregnant or possibly pregnant aren't supposed to be going through something like that, just like they shouldn't be getting x-rays, okay? So, because that can actually damage fetal development. They didn't know that. They don't know that. But actually there's been studies shown that TSA workers have an increasing level of cancer. So keep that in mind. Okay, now Wi-Fi, obviously we all have it for the most part. Wi-Fi is not a great thing to have, especially for children. Okay, they have no studies on Wi-Fi in kids, which isn't that amazing? I mean, considering the fact that we have so many kids out there in schools where there's Wi-Fi. They don't have actually any studies on that. Now, what are the solutions for Wi-Fi at home if you have it? A lot of people want solutions for their home. The best way to handle it, and not everyone is going to do this, I'm just giving you the solution that's possible. You can either put your Wi-Fi router on a timer, meaning it goes off at a certain times and come back on in the morning, and then it can be on all day long because you're not there. The other one, which is a little more challenging, is you can actually wire your house with the Ethernet cable. One, it's a better connection. Two, it's really fast, right? Because Wi-Fi actually can technically go slow with the actual signal. Now, is that easy? Not necessarily, unless you know how to actually run the wires through the building, up to the attic, etc. Or you could have somebody professionally do it. It can get expensive. Just depends on the person. Okay. So, just letting you know that those are the options for that. Okay. Now, I want to dive a little bit more into the possibilities and the potentials of danger with this, and we'll go into what 5G actually is. Okay. Heavy metals in the body. Okay. And people have heard of a Faraday cage before. What happens is we are getting heavy metals in our system from everything from the air to the food system, which is terrible, to a lot of different things, all right? So the metals in your body are actually going in, and they are stimulated by these signals, and they can actually throw off the bacteria in your body, not only your gut, but throughout your whole body, because we have bacteria all over our skin, we have it in our brain, we have it in our organs, we have different bacteria all over that are good for us. What happens though is if bacteria is in there, or funguses are in there, or parasites are in there, it can actually affect those, make them stronger, and they're harder to kill when they become an overgrowth of that. So that can be a very, very big problem. You need to know that, because heavy metals, as we're going to go over later, is going to be part of the 5G danger. Okay, so I want to let you know that. Now, again, I said EMFs with children were not a good thing. So do your best to shut these down. One of the problems with kids today is kids today are on a lot of really poor diets. They have heavy metals through things like vaccines and other stuff. And that is causing the leaky gut problem. All right, so I just said, if those signals are hitting somebody with the metals in them, it will actually cause poor bacteria to grow in the gut, and it can actually cause, or help potentially cause, leaky gut issues in children. And leaky gut issues are one of the causes, potentially, of autism. That was actually founded a long time ago. Even Dr. Wakefield founded that. A lot of people don't like him, but he actually is a really smart doctor and knew what he was talking about. Again, no studies are done. However, they have been connected to, EMF has been connected to in kids, brain tumors, cancers, sterility, different things like that. As we get these newer generations coming up through, we have a lot of 20 and 30-year-old people right now that are having a lot of fertility issues, and Wi-Fi, EMFs, radiation is one of the causes of that. And in adults, it's becoming a problem too, because you have a decrease in sperm mobility. So you actually have a fertility issue also in men. All right, that is a big problem. And if you haven't noticed, we have fertility clinics popping up all over the place. People are having major issues with having children, and that is not supposed to be that way. Part of the reason, there's many reasons, I'm not saying it's just radiation, but part of the reason is radiation, Wi-Fi, EMFs, all right? Good. Now, 5G. Let's dive into it, okay? Now, why do they want 5G? Because think about this. Most of us at this point, there's no more dial-up, I don't think, out there. Most of us are on some sort of high-speed network, or you might be on like a DSL at the least, but even DSL today is pretty quick compared to the old speeds we used to have, right? So we want speed, they want an increase in download speeds or latency, okay? Those are two of the biggest things they want. They say that they want those. Now I'm going to tell you what they're really looking for when it comes to 5G, okay? They do want speed. They also want what are called smart homes. We're going to go into that in a little bit, okay? They also want, they also want a cashless society. Now we're partially there now, and I've told you this before, holding up my phone. We might go pay for something at Whole Foods or like a Starbucks or certain stores. We can pay for things on our phone, or Amazon even, where we don't actually exchange money back and forth. That's a partial cashless society, but they want a full-blown cashless society. They also want AI. AI is called artificial intelligence, and that is a whole other seminar we could do another time, because that is a completely different thing, okay? Now, 5G is microwave radiation. If you didn't know this, the microwave in our houses is not a healthy device, meaning it actually rearranges electrons in atoms. Okay, it's not a good thing. It actually changes our food, it morphs it. So just so you know, if you didn't know this, microwaving food is not a good thing for you. It causes problems in the body, okay? It is microwave radiation. Now, there's a lot of places throughout Europe where they've actually banned microwaves because they know the actual effects and how bad this can be for you, okay? So you need to know that. Again, it's upwards of 100 plus gigahertz of millimeter waves and sub-millimeter waves, meaning you're getting direct waves hitting you over and over and over and over. Now, short term, not necessarily a problem. However, long term, that becomes a really, really big issue, okay? So you need to know that. It was also used in the military, in the U.S. Army, as a crowd control device weapon mechanism. Okay, they actually, when they had people standing in front of it, they could make a crowd move because it was so much intensity when it hit them, to the point where if they stood still where they were, they would actually feel like their entire body was on fire. That's what microwave radiation of these frequencies can do to somebody. So you need to know that. And keep in mind also, this stuff has never been tested. 5G has never ever been tested. So there's actually some video out there. You can go look it up. It's on YouTube, where they actually sat in front of Senate committees. They were having basically congressional type hearings, and they had executives from the major companies who are rolling out 5G. And Senator Blumenthal at the time actually asked the question, and this was a couple minutes on film, asked the question about the science. Do you have the science of the health effects this could have on the population? And I think there was about 4 or 5 people at the table who were answering those questions, and nobody knew of any science. They didn't have any science. And Senator Blumenthal at the end even said something to the effect of, okay, so basically we're going to be the experiment. And that is absolutely true. You and myself and all of us in society are going to be the experiment on 5G, okay? Good. So you got that. I'm watching some of the comments come through, and clearly we have some haters out there, so that's okay. You can be haters. We also have people out there who understand what's going on, and they know the real world, and they see what's happening, okay? So you've heard of smart appliances. There's a lot of smart appliances right now. They have smart televisions. They have smart kitchens. They have smart refrigerators. They even have, I believe, smart toilets at this point, which we don't know why you would need a smart toilet. However, those are becoming your smart hub at your home. Okay, this all plays into this, okay? Now, that connects to your smart meter that some people have, some people do not have, all right? Everyone's a little different. There are ways to get rid of those. You actually have to call your power company and have that arranged. They're going to charge you more of a monthly fee, but you can have that arranged. Now, you're also going to start seeing street lights go up, either on highways and or in your neighborhoods. The street lights are going to have LED lights on them. Within the LED lights, they will have a little motherboard, which is the actual 5G antenna. All right, so you can look all this stuff up. It's all out there. They're not keeping anything out. You can actually go see this, okay? Got it. Now, they're also putting mini antennas, especially in the cities, every block in the city. So with this new technology, you can't have them far apart anymore. They actually have to be closer to bounce these waves back and forth. And then also on top of that, they're going to be putting upwards of 20,000 or more satellites out into the atmosphere, into space, to bounce these signals back and forth. This is all part of 5G. Again, you can go look it all up for yourself. It's all out there. The FCC has talked about it. Every single organization within government has disclosed it. It's all happening. That's actually where I went and got this information and had to look it up from the actual source material, okay? Good. Now, the smart meter, when that connects to the tower and then connects to the satellites, you're going to be constantly surrounded by this at all times, just so you know, all right? Now, the FCC actually had, in 2018, they had basically a summit. It wasn't at the White House. It was in Congress or somewhere in Washington, okay? They actually had a summit, and you can go look this up online, where they spoke at the summit. They had the head of the FCC. They had a whole bunch of executives from the actual companies as well within government. And when asked about what 5G would do, long-term effects, they didn't have answers for it. Meaning they even said on camera, I don't know. They have like a repeating thing on camera where they say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, because they don't have all the research on it. They do not know what is going to happen with it. They're trying to beat everybody else in the world. So they're racing against other countries to be the first country to have 5G up as a whole. And obviously it's starting in inner cities first. Most of the cities are going to be having it first because of the population of people. So if you're going to see health effects first, I'm assuming you're going to start seeing those indicities first, okay? Now next, 6G comes right behind it. 6G is actually terahertz. So no longer gigahertz, it will be jumping to terahertz. I'm not going to go into 6G tonight. I will just tell you, 6G, I'm hoping we never get there. I'm hoping we either stop at 5G or we can hold this off, because 6G is not something that we want to see. It's going to be beyond dangerous, and you'll have a population issue. You'll also have a major issue with animals, which I'll go to in a second, okay? The health ramifications are completely unknown. Now, from a health standpoint, how does this affect you from a health standpoint, okay? Let's talk about red blood cells. So red blood cells should renew themselves about every 90 days, maybe 120 days, somewhere in that number, okay? That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to die off, make new ones, and your blood is supposed to change for you. That's how you want healthy blood, obviously. Now, when you start adding the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, they've actually done some studies with this. And as you start adding like 4G, you can actually start getting misshapen red blood cells. They actually look a little bit like Coke bottle tops. They get little spikes around the edges. And then when you head into other 5G, you actually start getting rouleau formation where they actually clump up, which is not good. You don't want your red blood cells clumping up, all right? Now, they've actually tried even higher frequencies, and what happens is the cell wall starts to deteriorate and leak, which obviously is the death of a cell. And then they're talking about, with possible 6G, 6G will actually damage the DNA of human beings. Okay, so again, no experimentation. Do not take my word for it. Please go out there and research it and study it for yourself. Now, when they are showing these red blood cells under a live microscope, when they took the radiation away, the red blood cells would actually relax and go back to their original form. So that tells you how much it's affected by that, okay? Which is actually fascinating, because I told you this is going to affect also animals, insects, etc. So they actually have a video online where they have aphids on a tomato plant. 14 miles away, they actually had an antenna, and the antenna would pulse every, I don't remember the timing on it, but it would pulse. Every time it pulsed, they would have the aphids, they shoot it. The aphids would actually tense up. And when the pulse came off, they would relax. So tense up, relax. That was we're talking aphids, very, very small. They're talking that 5G and then 6G will not only damage, but destroy our bees and our other pollinating insects. I don't know if you know this, but if we lose the bee population, which we're very rapidly losing, if you don't have bees, you do not have humans. Okay, that's just science, all right? So this is a big problem that we need to know about, we need to actually handle. Now, regarding this whole, I call it the perfect storm, okay? And I'm probably going to get some haters on this. That's okay, because I'm going to go into some things that most people think are conspiracies, but it is what it is. You have to do your research on it. You have to look it up. You have to know for yourself, okay? The perfect storm is, if you look in the sky, we have chemtrails going back and forth. Those are those long trails behind very, very high up jets, not commercial aircrafts. A contrail disappears, the chemtrail stays, and then it dissipates out into a cloud, all right? Now, those carry different immune challenges like bacteria, parasites, funguses, etc., but they also carry nanometals. Nano, very small, okay? Nanometals are floating down. They've actually tested soil samples, and they can prove this. High concentration areas where these things fall, it falls in the ground, and there are soil samples that will show these nanometals. They also drop phosphorus. We're going to come back to that in a second. So on top of that, you're getting different medications in the body that have heavy metals. You're getting different vaccinations that have heavy metals. All of this stuff is going in your bloodstream and going throughout your body, which could be obviously a very large problem. The phosphorus also soaks into the body. Now follow me on this. These nanoparticles actually start combining together. They'll be on the skin, and they'll actually start going in to the underneath the skin, okay, into the organs. This is a large problem because it actually starts making you a human antenna. Now, some of you have heard of Morgellons disease. Okay, not everyone knows, so if you don't know it, go type in Morgellons disease and learn what that is, because it's becoming a large problem with a very large part of the population, okay? This is going throughout the body. Some of the symptoms of Morgellons for people is very, very itchy skin, almost fiery feeling skin, like your skin is burning. They get headaches. They have fertility issues, digestive issues, a lot of different things that people think are common today, and you might actually have a deeper problem, even like fibromyalgia, where you have joint pain in different places throughout your whole body. That could be Morgellons in some people, because these nanoparticles are connecting in your body, and there are studies where they show this at a microscopic level connecting up. It's nanometals, all right? Now, on top of that, a combination of that, but also phosphorus, which we're taking in, they can actually track you via 5G. Because if 5G is going, it will create a blanket around the earth. And so among that blanket, you now have your smart appliances, you have your smart home, you have your smart meter going to an antenna, which is then going to satellites. You become a human antenna. If you have a device in your hand like a cell phone with 5G or the other devices, they will actually be able to, they already track you on your phone. So if people don't think they're going to track us, they already do. They track you on phone through the back end. All right, that, I mean, you even when you sign up for an app, you have to agree to the privacy options, and they actually track you. You can turn some off, but they're always tracking you. It's just like when you're sitting at home and you say something to somebody, or you're having a conversation, and later you go on your phone and you pull up social media and there's an ad there. They're listening in, it takes pictures, all of these different things. So it's always going and it's picking up on this stuff. Now with the phosphorus, I'm going to go into solutions, don't worry. When the phosphorus is in there, you actually can be picked up through their radar tracking. Right? You basically become a heat model. The phosphorus lights up and they can track your entire body wherever you go. So I'm not going to go too deep into that because it can be scary. Some people don't like talking about that. Some people freak out and think it's all just crazy conspiracy. But again, I urge you not even just to necessarily listen to me on this. Go look this stuff up for yourself. You can find it all out there. It's on YouTube, it's on Google, there are peer-reviewed articles on it, you can find everything, okay? So we'll try to drop some links in there as well so that you can pick up on those, see those links and everything else. Now, this turns in to our cashless society. This is the whole plan. I don't know if you know this, so China's already doing this. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, I'm just saying China is already doing this in their major cities. So if you think this is far-fetched, it's already been done, okay? Now, I'm going to go into the prevention in the last probably 10 or 15 minutes that I'm doing this, because I want to help you have solutions on how you can actually help yourself, how you can take care of yourself, because even if 5G comes here, we're going to fight against it. But even if it comes, we have to know how to best be preventative, help ourselves and our family, okay? And I'm going to do some more trainings and different videos on this because there's a lot deeper areas I can go into on all of this stuff, and I want to provide you as much information as possible. But just know that this is a very deep subject. There's a lot we need to learn about it, and you need to become very aware of it. Not get down about it, not get negative about it. Just know that we have to be solution-oriented, okay? So the first thing prevention-wise is you need to get very healthy. It doesn't matter if you're I think people are actually coming around right now because of obviously the pandemic and COVID-19, and people are very concerned and upset about this. And I think people are actually realizing that they have to get healthier. They need to boost their immune system and keep themselves going in case something like this happens again. However, with 5G, you need to get very clean. Now keep in mind, I told you that how we get heavy metals, how we get chemicals, how we get these different things in our body is through the air. Now I can't completely control that. You can't either. However, it comes in our food. You have to change your food. You have to start eating healthier, okay? We cannot get on the American standard diet, the SAD diet, because it doesn't work. It's full of heavy metals that go into your system, embed itself into the tissues, and becomes a problem. So eating good food, Getting quality supplementation, okay? If you need supplementation, there's a lot of different things you can get out there. You can also, we can help you at the office if you so choose. If you have someone locally to you, please go talk to them, a professional that knows what they're doing, and get yourself on something that can remove this from the body and help you on a healthier lifestyle, okay? Crystals and selenite. So sometimes we go into this woo-woo world, but a lot of you out there know that selenite as well as other crystals can actually contain energy, meaning they'll suck in that radiation. That is a good thing. So find something, and we'll post some links that you can get. If you're choosing to get these things, we want you to go with the highest quality ones, okay? But those things can also help, all right? Now, scalar energy products. Scalar energy is Tesla, okay? Tesla, original Nikola Tesla, not Elon Musk Tesla. Nikola Tesla, the genius inventor. That was his technology. He founded scalar energy. Now, he didn't create it. Scalar energy is universal energy. However, there's amazing products that will actually dissipate 5G and other radiations. It's been shown to do that. And we'll put a link in there, okay? There's necklaces, there's different things you can put in your home, there's things you can attach to the house and the smart meter that will lower the threshold of what you're dealing with from a radiation standpoint. And that's what this is all about, is doing the best you can to relieve the burden of radiation on your body, okay? Now, another one of the things that stands out so much about 5G is one of the biggest things is cancer. Now, thyroid cancer is actually skyrocketing, they're finding out, with even just 4G. So, what happens is radiation will actually deplete iodine from your thyroid. Your thyroid loves iodine. The thyroid is also a major hub of hormones in your body. So you have a master gland, which is the hypothalamus, and then you have the pituitary, which help create hormones. You also have the thyroid that creates hormones, but those hormones connect to the hub and then down to the adrenals and the reproductive glands, okay? So it is a hub for all of this. And what happens is we see a lot of thyroid issues today. We see a ton of autoimmune issues that point to the thyroid, to the adrenals, and to the hypothalamus and pituitary. So you need to take care of not only all these glands, but you need to take care of your thyroid. It's so, so important. You must have iodine. I once had somebody come in and tell me that they couldn't have iodine because they were sensitive to it. Iodine is an essential mineral to every single cell in the human body. You're not going to be sensitive to iodine. If you're sensitive to minerals and things like that, that means you have a toxicity in the body that has to be removed. You get that toxicity out, usually a heavy metal, because heavy metals will displace minerals. You need to take the metal out. You need to put in the actual mineral, okay? That is very important. So we covered, you have to get healthy. Organic food as much as possible. If not organic food, good meats, good vegetables, good fats, okay? You need to do things like selenite and crystal lamps or salt lamps. Those are also very good. Now, it's not going to take away all the radiation. It just takes away some of the burden of it, okay? On top of that, you need to use potential scalar energy to dissipate those millimeter waves. Also, a good thing to do is possibly look into living more towards the country, okay? Because the cities are going to be very overwhelmed with all this. They already are. There's a lot of cities throughout the U.S. who already have 5G in, not fully all the way, but they're putting it in, okay? Now, a lot of people ask me, is that what happened? Is that how the pandemic started? Now, I'm not going to let 5G off the hook. I'm just going to say that I don't believe it was solely 5G that created the problem in Wuhan, China. I think it was part of it. But you have to keep in mind, that is a part, but Wuhan, China, and China in general is a very polluted place. Their air is very thick with smog. It's very toxic. So you have things like poor food, you have poor hygiene out there in some areas, you have 5G, but also the air is so thick with toxicity that people are already struggling there. On top of that, you have smoking that is very high there. And so I've heard stories, honestly, of the smog and the pollution in the air being so bad that sometimes they have visibility problems just a few feet in front of them. So take that for what it's worth. And then last but not least, you need to fight back. Now, not physically fight back, We have to do this peacefully, okay? You need to fight back at your local level all the way to your federal level. The only way we're going to potentially stop this, or at least slow it down, is we have to be aware of what's going on. Okay, so you have my information tonight. I will also go deeper on this subject as we go forward, but I also need you to research and study what is happening. You need to dive deeper on these very important topics, not only just for us, but the kids. Kids are growing bodies. Their brains are growing very fast, okay? And you need to know what's going on with your kids. They can't handle this burden. Kids grow up to 25 years old. Like, their body is still growing. The bones are still growing. They're being depleted, all right? They're eating poor food. They're being put on a bunch of medications, a lot of sugar. All that stuff actually lowers their immune response and will actually make the brain shrink. We need the brain to grow, okay? So you need to fight back for the kids. That's the biggest thing, because sterility is skyrocketing. Again, I said earlier, it seems like there is a fertility clinic on almost every corner now. It's a fast rising industry. However, human beings, going way back, we never had a problem necessarily with fertility like we're having today. Now, it's always been there, but not like it is today. As a practitioner, as a physician, I see this all the time. We have an office of, I think, 6 or 7 practitioners, and every one of us sees people who have trouble with having children and conceiving. So this is a real problem. It's many things, but 5G, or 4G to start right now, but then 5G is coming. This is going to make it worse. We need to fight back. So do me a favor also. You vote with your money, meaning people are getting the latest cell phones, they're getting the latest technology, they're getting the latest smart appliances. No one needs a smart toilet. No one needs a smart toaster. No one even needs, honestly, a smart refrigerator, right? So the way you stop this is we stop buying all the things that they need us to buy to make these smart hubs happen. And then when you go to look at a cell phone, maybe we're getting to the point where we don't use our cell phones anymore. Maybe we get to the point where we go back to some older technology, or we just don't have to carry our phone around all the time. Now, that's not an easy thing to do. Trust me, I'm a technology user as well, and I like my phone. I like to be communicating with people in the world all over the place. But we have to think about the long-term ramifications. We are the science experiment when it comes to 5G. I don't want to be in a chronically ill position. I don't want you to be in that position. So we need to fight back with this. And the way to do that, the best way to do that, is we have to vote with our money. So when that new phone comes out, do your best not to buy the 5G phone. Do your best to buy maybe an older one, or go back and restart an older one. Now, I know people are going to say they're going to make us go to that technology. I understand that. But again, this is the best way to fight this for the time being, okay? You have to get yourself healthy. I hope these tips, I hope this information help you. Now, as I study this all the time, there's so many different angles I can go down this at. And so in this half an hour, 40 minutes tonight, I'm not going to get through all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep diving deeper on this. Please do me a favor, put your questions in as much as possible, and I will answer those, but we'll also keep researching. We'll put the links out there. We'll put the links out for all of this stuff so you know it. And keep looking, and I will continue doing more videos. We'll maybe put a training together for you so that you know the best ways to handle that. And one last thing, I thought of another tip while I was telling you that, is please, 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 and this typically happens with young people, is stop them from putting their cell phones into their front area where the reproductive organs are, like in their jeans. Stop putting it in the back pocket as best as possible. Females, stop putting it up here near the breast area. And then obviously try not to talk on the phone. Have it on speakerphone or have wires. No, Bluetooth is not necessarily a good thing. That has its own problems as well. But just be as conservative on your use of the phone as possible. Please, please, please get it away from the reproductive organs, both top and bottom, because it can lead to tumor growth. Keep in mind, they did the studies a long time ago about cell phone use, and they have information and studies showing that it could cause cancer, and it most probably does cause cancer, okay? They've held those back for a long period of time. So we know going to 5G is going to be even a bigger problem. So do the best you can. I hope this helped you. We'll continue diving down this deep rabbit hole with technology, and we'll give you as much information as possible. Please, again, there's tons and tons of comments. I really appreciate that. Send those to me. I'm going to go through this tonight. I'm going to look through these, and we will answer those as best as possible because we want to make sure you're all prepared and ready for this challenge, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, my Facebook page, or the Facebook business page. Just thank you. I appreciate that. We will actually put all this out there and keep you as safe as possible and keep you obviously as updated as possible, because knowledge is power, and the application of that knowledge is going to save lives. So Dr. Jason Dean, Palmer Natural Health Practitioner and founder of Revolution Network, signing off. I hope you guys have an amazing time, and be right back here soon, because my wife, Dr. Lisa Palmer, is going to be going on in about 15 minutes where she talks to you about immunology with a good friend and an amazing scientist, Dr. Shane Morris. She will be on very soon, so stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back. Guys, I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful night. Take good care of yourself. Go out and help somebody. We're almost out of this whole pandemic issue where we can go back to a more normal life, and we can get back to doing the things we love every day. But have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself.